Good morning. Oh, I got a response in the room. Good morning to everyone online, too. My name is Heather Tyler. I'm the interim VPSA at the moment, but my real job is the Dean of Instruction and Workforce here at Rio Salado College, and it is my pleasure to be your MC this morning for our third candidate for the VPSA position here at Rio. So I'm going to read a quick bio. We'll start there. Dr. Tashima Jones is an accomplished higher education leader with 17 years of experience driving student success, retention, and equity across academic and student affairs. She currently serves as Director of Graduate Academic Affairs at the University of Houston, where she oversees strategic initiatives spanning graduate academic success, policy development, curriculum governance, program reviews, and student conduct processes. Whew, hold on. It is. She works closely with faculty, deans, enrollment leaders, and student support services to foster inclusive learning environments and improve outcomes for a highly diverse student body. Dr. Jones also serves as a key liaison to the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, managing graduate program approvals and leading institutional reporting and regulatory compliance. So this morning, same format. We will have 45 minutes to share information. Then we'll have 15 to 20 minutes for questions and answers after the presentation, and then 5 minutes for closing remarks, after which the survey will be sent out, feedback will be collected, and we can go ahead and get started. All right, so first question to kick us off. How has your background and experience prepared you for this role?
All righty. Good morning, everyone. I still feel so loud, but it's okay. Thank you for being here, and thank you to those online as well. I'm truly honored, honestly, to be considered for this Vice President of Student Affairs role here at Rio Salado College. It truly aligns with my purpose, my passion for student success, and student centered education. So I would bring to this role 17 years. If I move a little bit, am I like out of the microphone? 17 years of leadership in higher education. And I am super proud of that because I started out as a first generation college student. Very scary, lots of barriers to break through. But I did that. And again, leadership is my purpose, my passion, as well as foundation in both academic and student affairs. So I am currently, as she stated, I'm the director of academic affairs at the University of Houston. Go Cougs. And I oversee academic policy development as well as student success and program reviews with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. I now oversee advising. Fun. I love advising. I feel like that is the foundation and start to where students get to see how they're going to be treated. Academic advising is something that we have perfected under my leadership because I want the students to start and finish strong. So I've led initiatives in student life, leadership programming, as well as compliance and strategic operations, both at the 2-year and 4-year institutions. I think I should have went to that next slide. There you go. And what has guided me throughout my career is not just being a first generation college student and learning how to break through some of these barriers alone, but it did strengthen me. Um, but I recognize that every student, no matter whether they are returning from a long break or they are juggling family and work like so many of us have done, or they are starting and navigating college for the very first time, every student deserves to be seen, they deserve to be supported and empowered. And that is something that I have learned outside of the classroom because classroom can't teach you how to survive and break through barriers when it comes to navigating college. So, and this really is what excites me about Rio Salado College. It's your bold commitment to innovation. It is your service and your flexibility to today's learners. You are mainly online. And everybody knows through COVID, we all kind of jumped in online, but didn't really know what we were doing. We were just kind of swimming and hoping that we stayed afloat. But you've done some amazing things here. And as someone who has launched many student success initiatives to both traditional and non traditional learners, I'm drawn to Rio's national leadership in online learning. Again, I can't say it enough. You've done some great things here. But it's your commitment to workforce readiness. Like, we want to get students ready. We want to prepare them for their next steps. We don't want to start and where do I go from here? That was kind of my experience. What do I do now? Who do I talk to? But it's your collaborative spirit and, again, workforce readiness for students. You serve a group of diverse students, as I do at the University of Houston, and I have at my previous institutions as well. And including veterans and working adults and first generation college students like myself, or the single mamas out there like myself. These are important learners, and if we can serve them and support the team that supports them, I do believe that students would be more successful and retained. So, a little bit about my leadership and why this role and why Rio Salado College. My leadership is collaborative, it is student centered, and data informed, and definitely rooted in compassion. Um, People used to always ask, why college? Why higher education? Like, do you make a lot? It's definitely for the passion and the purpose. But I prioritize, listening to students. Again, these are things that I didn't learn in the classroom. These are things that I just experienced, of not being heard, not being seen, looked over. So I made little mental notes about things like that. I'm like, if I ever get into one of these offices, I will prioritize students. But building upon strong teams and using both technology and analytics to, enhance services and remove those barriers that many students face. So, this vice president student affairs role is not just a career or a step up, it's a calling, and I plan to answer that call. It is an opportunity for me to build upon structures and strategies to amplify student potential and foster the belonging at a scale. So, as we move through today's conversations, I'll continue to tell you a little bit about me and my leadership, and I'll go on to the next question. Sorry, getting my notes here together. Um, So, what emerging technologies or digital tools do you believe are underutilized in student affairs? And how would you leverage them to improve student engagement and service delivery? Well, AI is out there. But AI empowered chatbots is something that we have been working with. And this will give you a predictive outreach, and it's virtual assistance 24/7. Students can get questions answered. These are like frequent questions. When is registration? When is the deadline? These are things that technology can do, and when you use the bots, it guides students through these key processes like registration and advising and wellness check-ins, because we don't want to forget about that one. But it also alerts you about financial aid, and these services will be able to provide students real help, also allow them human interaction when needed. Um, so this automated reminder would escalate the services for students. And this is mainly going to be for students outside of the traditional learning hours. Secondly, what I think is underutilized is the digital student communities and virtual engagement platforms. Um, these would be integrated into learning communities, which I have quite a bit of experience in. But again, predictive analytics and early alert systems. When we know early, we can fix early. And so this would really help identify students at risk, whether it's disengagement or not going to courses, or like we would be able to use prior data in order to enhance this as well. But so we would implement, I think that suitable is not used a lot, and many people don't know about suitable, but it's suitable presence or like a custom um, Slack Discord. It's these spaces build for you, and it allows your community for online learners again to get these services quickly and frequently answered questions. But it also helps with engagement, outside of the classroom. And this reduces isolation and it increases a sense of belonging. And this right here will allow students to feel like transparency is being involved. So, when used ethically and strategically, this will do three things for us. We would be able to intervene sooner. This would give us we would be able to provide a personalized support for the student, and it improves retention and graduation. We want them in, but we want them out. We want them to be workforce ready. What else? Let's see here. Mobile first, centralized student service hubs. This ensures that, students would be able to have this information at their fingertips. I mean, we carry this thing around everywhere. It's everywhere. And but we would be able to import things like SMS nudges and push notifications. Students will stay informed and empowered right at their fingertips. I know that we have some things that we're doing online, but if you can pick up your phone and register or make an advising appointment or do a wellness check-in on your phone and not having to get on your computer, I do believe that this would keep students informed and empowered at their fingertips. So this would also send tailored reminders about events and engagement. Again, wellness checkups, career tools, peer groups, student organizations online. And then lastly, I do believe that's underutilized is co-curricular digital credentialing and skill badging. So co-curricular recognition, um, it would issue digital badges for students for like leadership roles in PTK and Student Government Association. I've had the honor and pleasure of being the advisor for PTK for many years, as well as Student Government Association, and created leadership roles, for students who didn't believe that they were leaders. So this would issue digital badges in service learning and, again, wellness and workshops. If they attended workshops on campus, it would keep track of these things. Whenever you look at awards, you're like, oh, I did that, I did. It reminds students what they're doing and how far that they are coming and what they've accomplished. So, also digital transcripts and e portfolios, I think, are being underutilized. This would, AI would be able to enhance these badges, but it also would get students workforce ready. And what I mean by that is that we would use AI to ensure alignment with the job market skills and credentialing. And this is going to be good for the student as well as the employer. And structured learning communities, we create leadership and service learning cohorts with these stackable badges, blending, digital credentialing and proactive advising. It's it's setting students up to win. So I know here, many students are mostly online or asynchronously, and the responsiveness to these students are critical and important. So services such as these would definitely enhance transparency. Um, we would just do proactive outreach for students, and we can tailor these types of things as well. Okay, so the second question is, beyond compliance, how would you foster a culture of meaningful assessment and use of data, continuously improving student affairs programs and services? Well, let's see here. There's already a strong foundation here, of disaggregated academic data and early alert systems that you're already doing. So I would just, I think being to improve on that is just bringing co-curricular data into the picture in like a more suitable student-centered way. And I know that, again, you're doing some really amazing things here, and like creating a student affairs equity dashboard. This tool would show participation, retention, and satisfaction data by identity groups. So that would be by race, by gender, what their program is. Are they in financial aid? What other services can we provide for them? But it would just go across groups like advising and wellness and leadership and service learning. And this is going to be, we would help them by intervening and meeting students exactly where they are. Also, launching a cross functional data to action team, I think, would improve student affairs programs and services. So, a cross functional group doesn't just review like assessment results. I love assessments, I do a lot of assessments. I mean, they see me coming and like, oh my gosh, she's gonna, what survey do you have? Um, but we use them to propose and pilot change. I think a lot of things can be improved upon, and taking like one semester and implementing one priority area and seeing what the data says and how can we improve that for students and staff. I do want to reiterate that we don't want to forget about the people who take care of our students. So this would be for the student affairs team as well. And so each semester, identifying like a core area, whether it's advising or wellness or, maybe it's for working parents, but it's just a small group that we can take and assess. And when we implement a testable solution. So again, I've led initiatives and staff to data because I love assessment, but I've trained them on how to collect, interpret, and assess the data. Not just sitting on a shelf or on a computer. Like we would use that reporting to inform programming decisions and again tailor them to redesign services in real time for students. Um, So again, moving beyond like participation counts at events, we will look at who is engaging and who is not, or who is being left out and why. And I've helped revise satisfaction surveys and to like disaggregate by race and modality and enrollment. And the results of this survey showed me that we needed to tap into some of our underrepresented graduate students, and support programs were created for those students. Lastly, I would close the loop with students through visible branded campaign. Data should not just live on the shelf. And I've launched a You Spoke, We Acted campaign, and this is where students are feeling heard and seen, and like, oh, wait, they were listening. Oh, I did just fill out that survey for a t shirt. Uh, things are actually happening. So I found that sharing the results with staff and students and faculty and leadership teams really help us drive students to success and retention and engagement across the board.
Gosh, you nailed the timing. You did it. It was awesome. All right, so we do have 10 to 15 minutes for questions. We're going to start with questions here in the room. Do we have a microphone runner, or are we using this? We do. You guys are so good. We got Karen right here.
Hi, good morning. I'm Karen Doherty. I am faculty co-chair for the library. Thank you for your presentation. Can you share an example of how you've collaborated with faculty or another department or division on campus? We're very systems oriented here at Rio, and we work very closely with partners across the college. So I'd love to hear about just one example of something you've done that you're proud of.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. And I am proud to work with faculty. I currently work with faculty with graduate program reviews. But what I'm most proud of is creating, I integrated it like a PowerPoint, you would say, into the first year experience courses because students were lost. You know, the first time in college, students were the ones that hadn't been here in a long time. This student success course is to teach students how to navigate college for the first year. It teaches them, you know, about advising and what you should ask your advisor and financial aid. And they still weren't getting it. And I felt like if we implemented something into this first year experience course, maybe it's just like a short presentation, or we can come in to the classroom and we, as student academic affairs, we would be able to talk to the students and let them know what services are, that we offered. And so I had to get involved with a lot of faculty. So I just started showing up at faculty meetings saying, "Hi, how are you? Yes, I need something from you." But it was honestly just creating and building those relationships with faculty. Some of them have become really good friends of mine. And throughout that program and that leadership and working with the faculty to be able to disrupt their classroom, you know, just for a short period of time to come in and speak, you know, and partner with student life across the board to say, you know, there are student organizations out here. I know that you're not going to learn this in your student success course, but here we are. This is what we're doing. It really helped. And it helped by a way of advising numbers went up, financial aid completion went up because we were in the classroom and we partnered with those faculty in order to get that information out there to students. So thank you for your question. Faculty are key. It starts in the classroom, but we also want to lead students out and get them engaged as well.
Good morning. Thank you. My question is Rio is part of a larger community college district. So there be times where you may be in a district wide meeting and you'll hear except for Rio or Rio is different. So, what in your background would help you prepare to be kind of that oddball in the room? And suppose I've been in district meetings where, well, it doesn't apply to Rio. So, what in your background would help you support Rio in those conditions?
Absolutely. Um, I have been the oddball, and I have felt not welcome in the room. But let me tell you, I will pull up a chair and to be confident to sit there. And um, in my experience with that, I am bold, I'm respectful, but what I believe in is students across the board, and nobody should be left out. I have spoken up for students, faculty, staff, because I knew it was the right thing to do. I've led initiatives where I've got a lot of pushback, but the data didn't lie and the assessments didn't lie, and said, well, we can do that except for this, or we can't do that for graduate school, we can do it for undergrad. Well, let me show you why you can do it for the graduate school. But just being confident in what you're doing and why you are doing it is going to be key. And just know that you have a whole staff and team behind you that are looking for you to get the job done. Like, you are their voice in the room, so better speak loudly. My grandmother always said, closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm always speaking up, especially for something that I believe in. And again, respectfully, but if I know it's something that's going to enhance, our leadership team and the things that we can provide for students, then why not? If we can just show them, why Rio Salado College should be at the table and have a seat at the table or be in the room, like, you won't get left out. I'll do my best.
Good morning. Thank you so much. My name is Debbie Bala and I serve in the Administrative Services Department here at Rio. Coincidentally, I'm wearing red. I served at the University of Houston for 7 years, go Cougs, but my heart is at Rio and Maricopa. So there are about 26 departments within the Division of Student Affairs. Tell us your experience in managing large contracts from a programmatic perspective. Whether it's a call center that brings in intake of calls.
Absolutely.
And I have a second question, so I will just say that together. Tell us your experience in managing large department budgets that include, for a division, that include multiple funding sources.
Absolutely. I have done that throughout my career, managing administrative services with the call center, with veteran affairs, financial aid, advising. It's a big job, but you also have a big team, and being a leader in those teams is going to be with transparency and collaboration. I know money like the back of my hand. I also was able to, at my previous institution with Student Life, they had a very large budget that was underutilized. And a lot of that funding was going back. And of course, me with my data and assessments, I'm like, why is so much money not being used? Like, how can we allow this to go back? And I mean, we spent money because it was ours to spend for student services, for Student Life, for the PTK and Student Government Association. And I mean, we had sent back almost $1 million one year. And I'm like, not much. So I collaborated with the president. I'm like, I need to do this, this, and this. And when I tell you, we spent down to the penny, I think it was like 58 cents left. But funding across the board, it comes. We have a lot of grants that come in. We have a lot of stipends that come in. We get funding from all over. But just knowing the budgets for each individual department, again, being collaborative with your leadership team, being transparent with your team, is going to be key to success for all of that. But so yes, I have overseen very large budgets and very large teams as well. Again, my leadership style is collaborative, but with transparency and compassion. You're welcome. Thank you for that question.
We have a email question, online question. Tell us about a time when you identified an inefficient process in your workplace and what steps you took to improve it.
Absolutely. So I'm proud to say that the graduate program reviews with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, well, I'm not proud that they were all over the place, but a lot of them were missed just because there were no procedures in place. So I met with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board several times to say, what is your policy on graduate program reviews and what happens when a program review is not completed? And so I took that information, and we had missed a lot of graduate program reviews. So I wrote procedures and policies for them and had to buy in with faculty because my faculty were the ones that were doing self-studies. And they were not happy with me at first, but then once the process moved out, they were like, why didn't you do this before? Yes. So I was able to create this process for the graduate program reviews, but it took a lot of collaboration, not only with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, but my vice provost and dean of the graduate school, as well as many faculty.
Hello. Hi, good morning. My name is Rina Ferrufino, and I'm just wondering in terms of student engagement and being in a mainly online institution, what are some ways that you're hoping to connect with students, with programming and incentives, and maybe also even bridging the gap with like community development, bringing them over to the credit side?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have some experience with online learners and getting, keeping them involved and not being forgotten about. When my institutions are mainly in person, and we did have online learners, but the engagement was very, very, very low. But also creating these learning communities for online learners, not just, these are things outside of the classroom. To keep them engaged, creating student organizations for online learners, having the same thing that we do in person, having that online. And so I can tell you, I created a dissertation accelerator where I was looking at some numbers, data, of course, and I noticed that a lot of graduate students were ABD, all the dissertation, and they were not graduating. I'm like, well, this is a lot of numbers that don't make sense. And when I started to reach out to these students, it was, I don't have a chair. I don't, I'm not sure who my chair is. I'm like, what? So, connecting them with faculty and tying this all in together, like, I don't have time to write. So I created a dissertation accelerator, and now I implemented thesis students as well. It is a week-long workshop, writing workshop. It is very scheduled, and it is very profound, and our numbers have increased, and I'm going on year 5 with this now. So, but it was also online as well. So the ones that can't come to campus, I offer it online as well.
Another online question.
Okay.
We have enjoyed a fast-growing international student population from all over the world through visiting students and international partnerships. Can you share examples of how you have supported or promoted international education and its many facets during times of growth? And how would you approach ensuring the continued success and support of the international ed employees as well as long-term stability and impact of the program?
That's a long question.
I know.
I have to ask you to repeat parts of that.
You
But
want me to do the first part?
just the first part, yeah, because it's basically asking how am I going to support my international students? And I do that, especially at the University of Houston. We have a large number of international students, but also I have created a online new student orientation because international students, their services are a little bit different than the traditional or non-traditional learners. They have to go through ISSO and get I-20s, and so it's so much different. So I was able to create that new student orientation for international students and work with our graduate school team to ensure that questions are answered in real time. So that is that 24/7 virtual assistant, and then connecting them with human support because time differences and things like that. But also having a space for them online as well, where they can reach out to our leadership team. So they're no different from the traditional and non-traditional. We support everybody.
The second part of the question was how would you approach ensuring the continued success and support of the international ed employees, as well as long-term stability and impact of the program?
Absolutely. So whatever I can do in my ability and what the laws within the laws say that I can do. I mean, I support teams no matter again who they are, international or domestic. But that's just my approach. Again, collaborative, transparency. Just meeting staff and students where they are.
Thank you. And then we have an additional question. What role should the VPSA play in securing and managing grants that support student services and initiatives? Can you share how you would align grant opportunities with student affairs goals?
Absolutely. I love grants. I mean, you have to learn how to write grants, and it's not easy. But once you know that there is money out there, you will do whatever you have to do to get it because it's free money. And why not? So I have tons of experience on grants. I mean, it's like grants are my middle name, and I can write a grant quicker than anyone. Okay, well, I think that I can. But I've had some successful grants come through student life, academic affairs, like different services, especially for PTK, Student Government Association, but our service learners, as well as students that were wanting to like, hey, well, I want to do STEM. Like, is there any grants? Let's find out. So grants are super important, and I would definitely continue to incorporate grants and search and seek out grants for whatever we can in order to improve services for our staff and students.
Okay, an additional question. What systems or practices would you implement to develop leadership capacity among student affairs staff? And how would you support their career advancement?
So I believe that nobody should be stuck in a position. I'd say stuck because you want people to grow and you want to enhance people. And whatever your desire is and what you choose to do, within the college, I want to be able to provide you the professional development and leadership in order to do that. Again, Rio is doing amazing things, and I've heard that you've got an amazing team. So just building upon that and continued support for students and staff. I do believe wholeheartedly that staff should be supported because they support our students. You got to take care of the people that take care of our students.
Thank you. And one more question. Okay. What do you see as the future of our student affairs and higher education over the next 5 to 10 years? And how would you prepare Rio Salado College to adapt and lead in that future?
Well, always learning and reading. You've got to be a lifelong learner in higher education. You will get left behind because there are things that are changing all day, every day. So staying on top of that, but getting into the right rooms, sitting at the correct tables are going to be key for that. And just remaining transparent and collaborative with your team, your students, your staff, your leadership team. Going that above and beyond because again, this is a passion and a purpose for me. So I do whatever I can.
That is all of our questions. Our time for questions. So if you go ahead and do your 5-minute closing.
Absolutely. So thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, this is not just a career for me. It's a purpose and a passion. Like I said, I've been in this for 17 years. Not going anywhere. But I really appreciate the time to share my vision and my leadership with you all today and the ones online as well. I am excited about what we can build upon here at Rio Salado College. And I just believe that this academic, the student affairs division, that is you're so innovative already, and this really does deeply align with what I love to do. Absolutely love to do. So my goal is to not come in and change and I want to listen, I want to learn, and I want to again build a bond and be a team, like a true team. Again, I have the education, but it's the experience throughout higher education. It was not easy, and I want to build pathways for students and staff just to make things a little bit easier. Just to remove some of these barriers. This is what higher education can and should be. So with that being said, I would like to, like reimagine the support that I can provide to you and the students, and we can have fun while doing it. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. You did it. You made it all the way through. All right. That is our last candidate forums. Please make sure to look in your emails for the surveys, results out. That's your opinions, and take are incredibly valuable in this process. So please make sure you get those turned around as soon as possible. And thank you to everybody. And have a great day. Thank you so much. I did. I was like, oh my god. Midway through.